Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So the new Trump administration, there's been a lot of gun tubers and a lot of Second Amendment advocates, and even a couple senators want to abolish the ATF. Do we really need the ATF? Stay tuned.
For 11 days in August 1992, the country stood in amazement as they watched nonstop coverage of federal government agencies, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the U.S. Marshal Service, and Federal Bureau of Investigation, with local law enforcement surround a small cabin and a standoff in the mountains of Idaho.
In 1993, Americans watched breathless as FBI agents faced off with a self-proclaimed religious prophet and his armed followers in Central Texas. This was the Waco siege, a weeks-long standoff between the federal government and a religious group known as the Branch Davidians.
Hundreds of these lost Fast and Furious firearms are being traced to other deadly shootings now. The book, The Deadly Path, recounts this scandal, calling it, quote, one of the worst stains on federal law enforcement. And the author of that book, retired ATF Deputy Assistant Director Pete Forcelli, also whistleblower, is joining us tonight.
With a lot of the blunders coming over the last 10, 15 years from the ATF, I can see why many people want to abolish them. Let's talk about it. Fast and Furious, Ruby Ridge, Waco. A lot of these mistakes or missteps have really taken Americans' confidence in the ATF just down. But if we listen to Tom Graves, who does work for the USCCA, he interviews this Michael Kowalski, whoever it is. His name will be up there. I'll get it right, but
And as we went forward under George W., things were nice and simple. ATF was a lot friendlier because they had to be. For those of you in the NFA world, I remember 5, 7, 30-day max transfer times. They just, anything that was done, if you saw ATF for a compliance inspection, it was friendly and they were working with you.
And he's an FFL consultant, one of the leading ones. And he talks about, and I did a video on this, he talks about in presidents past how the ATF functioned. And under certain presidents, the ATF was actually a friend of the FFLs. Me personally, I can see the ATF being neutered. Do legislation that takes away any ability for them to interpret or rewrite or make up their own new rule because of one president wants this. So I kind of think maybe Trump was a genius in doing that first one, giving Joe Biden the idea, I can just do what I want through executive order. That turned out to keep Congress out of it for the last, 6 years? And of course, when the bump stock got overturned, Congress quickly tried to get in there and it didn't happen. So that 6 years changed the gun culture in Congress enough to not make bump stocks happen. There's talk about flat out abolishing them. And I think we're being too knee-jerky about it. I think we need to think of legislators shift their focus to not abolishing the ATF, but basically turning him into a nutless dog, neutered. No ability to try to interpret rules and rewrite rules and go through the Department of Justice. No, just take that all away and keep them as they are to enforce the federal law. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think. As always, have a blessed week. We love you. Peace out.